taking the silent cues, but then I was like, am I jumping the gun? I second guessed myself. I shouldn't do that. We have a special guest with us today. We have Kal-El.
Of course, as always.
This is Kal-El Supercat.
This is different. I'm sorry.
This is the twin brother of the superstar Kitty Katniss. So we'll see how long this lasts before she gets mad he's in her throne. Also, I've decided, Sam, I'm bringing back hats and scarves and gloves.
Does anybody still wear a hat?
Yeah, I'm bringing it back.
Okay, great. Perfect.
It's a new thing. So everybody, every time now, bring your hat and your scarves and your gloves. And pocketbooks. So I'm really excited about today's guests.
Me too.
A very, very special family of ours who we know and love and we've worked with tons. So we're going to get on to it with some quick announcements. First, we have your show, which I'm going to put the link in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're working on?
My show, once again, I'm doing Guys and Dolls concert version, which is going to be on February 13th live at 6 p.m., I think. And then it's going to be an encore performance on February 14th. So a little Valentine's Day weekend that you can have with you and your loved ones. It's going to be the inaugural musical of Boxcar Theatricals in Orange County, and the tickets are free. However, if you would like to leave a donation, we would love if you would do that. So come out and see us. It's completely virtual. It is a hybrid of pre-recorded filmed stuff and live stuff, so it should be a really cool, fun little thing. So come out and see us.
I love it. And I have to say, I know this is a weird time, so if people don't have the extras, we get it. But if you got a little extra, theaters have a hard time right now because we can't be in business. We're trying to find these new, innovative ways to do theater. So if you got it, it's great to donate to a new up-and-coming theater. So cool. Yay.
And then now we have, of course, as always, the virtual theater series. Right now we have 3 Syllables of Shame, which was written by Rom Watson and is directed by Catherine Rom. It's starring Lindsay and Jeremy Palmer, and that will be running right here on our YouTube page until February 21st. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go ahead and watch it. And if you watched it already, share it and watch it again.
Watch it again. I've seen it 3 times. It's super cute. I love it. It's really good.
It's really cute. Coming up next month is going to be Surf's Up by Ken Levine and directed by Allison Bull. It's starring Chris Morrison and Gloria Bamubile Chishimanga. It's going to go up on February 21st, and it will be on YouTube until March 21st. Following that is State of Independence by Paul Coster, which is directed by Susan Weisbarth, which actually just got cast. And so it's going to be featuring Jessica Plotton, Michael Hovance, and Jack Matita. So that's going to be very exciting.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting. So it's gonna premiere on March 21st, and it's gonna be again here on our YouTube channel until April 25th. So we got some great cast, some great directors, and some great writers coming out.
I'm really excited about this. That was a great announcement. That just got me all tickled. I'm glad. Super tickled.
I'm glad.
We got some good stuff coming up.
Yes, we do.
I'm excited about I'm excited about the show that's airing. I'm excited about the next 2 coming up. This is really good stuff. Yay. And also I want to say hello to Dave and Mario who are watching and who have commented. And yes, Mario, I'm going for very Parisian. I mean, you can wear any hat. It doesn't have to be Parisian. But today we're Parisian. So without any further ado, I'm excited to bring on this family, and I was saying in our little advertisements, they are involved in everything at Kenwood, and it's so true, and it's so great. And we appreciate, they have so many skills and talents to offer the world and theater, and so I am so excited to hear more about them. So let's bring on the Okida family.
Yay! Welcome.
Hi! Yay! Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for coming. I would just like to say one thing that actually, Roy and Fiona were the first people I ever met at Kentwood. And then also, I think they might have been the first people I met that did not go to my school. So that were like LA natives. So we have quite a history.
Question.
That is.
of like.
You obviously made a good impression. He came back. He didn't quit.
I did. I came back once or twice. So.
Well, and let's recap. How did you all meet?
How did we meet each other?
No.
Oh.
I have a suspicion I know how you met Fiona, how you met Roy and Colleen.
Yeah, so we met when I came to audition for The Little Mermaid back in 2018, and I sat down next to this man who decided he was going to start talking to me. And so, no, but we met at the auditions, and he immediately, both him and Fiona were there. They both immediately made me feel very welcome and very included. And we have been in several shows together, all of us. So we have been very close ever since we met. So I'm really excited to have you on and get to know you a little bit more.
I must say, it was your shoes that made me think that you were a really cool person.
Yeah, so I have these shoes. Actually, I think they're right here if I can find them.
These are little tips and tricks for people going to auditions. Have an item that sticks out.
Shoes. So these are the shoes that I
was
wearing.
Cool.
They're really cool. They have all sorts of musicals on them. And so Fiona was like,
cool.
"Oh my gosh, I love your shoes." And
yes.
I was like, "Thank you." I actually wore them as an icebreaker so that people would ask me about my shoes. So it worked.
One thing we know about Fiona is she loves the musicals. And she's been raised right.
That's just one thing. Yeah.
So let's get in. First of all, Shari and Dave saying hi to you all and big hugs to everyone. Yay. So let's get in a little bit of history. Maybe we'll start with Roy and Colleen. A little brief, where are you from? How did you get here in Los Angeles? Are you from Los Angeles? I don't even know the answer to this.
Well, I grew up in kind of like the Pasadena area, just north of there, Altadena. So that's where I was born and raised. So I grew up there. So native Southern Californian, actually. And basically moved down towards the west side because I worked down here off by the airport. So eventually made my way down, lived in Gardena for about 20 years.
Oh, wow. I like to say you have a super secret job because we don't really know what you do. I know you're an engineer.
It's not super secret. It's just I just do engineering for like an aerospace firm. So
it's so cool. It's complicated. You know what? It's super cool is what it is. And I just love your brain.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And Colleen, what about you? Where are you from?
California. I grew up in Burbank. And made my way down here eventually.
And Fiona, where are you from?
I am also from Southern California. I've been born and raised in this here household. Haven't left the house. I'm trapped here. Please send help. I'm just kidding.
Please send help to 123.
Fiona, we're all trapped. I hate to break it to you. That's super cool. I didn't know that you guys were SoCal native, so that is really exciting. This is a place I think Sam can attest to. You land here and you just stay.
Definitely. So. Now, have you three always been involved in the theater? Not necessarily Kentwood, but the theater in general, or did you start that fairly recently?
Well, I basically went to school to be like an engineer, scientist type stuff. So I had like all through high school, I didn't do any performing. High school, I would see the performances, and I thought that was cool, and I've always wanted to, but never did it. I think the earliest exposure that I had was in grade school, but then all through high school, college, it was all about prep and getting to be an engineer. And once I was done with my school, then it was like, hey, I want to go back to doing some of that theater stuff, have a little fun. And so I joined actually the choir at work, and we were like a stand-up and typical choir. You read the music off of a book, And but then we started diverging a little bit during the summer. Actually, they took a hiatus and they did more theater type performances, little vignettes from shows and stuff. And that kind of got me into saying, hey, I want to do those little dance moves and song and dance numbers. So the Notables, it was called the Notables. And so that's how I kind of got into doing more performance-like shows. And that's kind of where I met her too.
Aw, Colleen, how did you?
I was just gonna ask.
With the theater bug, or did it just bite you out a little bit later?
No, I played violin and I was in music and I was a music major at Cal State Northridge, and I didn't play in musicals until college. I played a few there and I thought, oh, it's kind of fun. And then I played a few after that, but really not that much. And so when Roy and I started dating, he was in a production, and I talked to the people in the pit and I said, hey, do you need anybody who, will play? And they said, well, we can't pay you. I said, that's fine. I just want to play. And so that's kind of when I started doing a lot more pit work, and I really enjoy it.
I love it. And you've done a lot for Can't Wait. You've played in a lot of our musicals.
Yeah, I
think remember.
Every musical I've been involved in at Kentwood, Colleen's been there in the orchestra, playing away, doing amazing. So, Fiona, were you born in a trunk?
Well, before we get to Fiona, I want in a traveling trunk. I want to get to real quickly. How did you all meet? Roy, you said you kind of met when it involved music,
basically, or this group called the Notables that we were part of, we started. She actually knew the music director from another
from musical pits,
but also from a different group. Weren't you part of his church choir or something like that?
No, actually.
Oh, that's right. So anyway, the Notables used to be basically part of the Hughes Aircraft Company. It was a company choir, and which is where I worked.
Wow.
But once Hughes kind of got sold into pieces between Raytheon and Boeing,
boring engineer stuff.
But then we
I think this is
became
great.
independent. We were no longer part of the company, so that's when we said, and come on, anybody that wants to perform, come join in. And that's when the director called her up and said, why don't you come join our performing troupe?
I could tell stuff. No.
You weren't around then.
No.
You have no direct. You don't have direct evidence.
I will at least say that when my father wanted to engage my mother, they were at Disneyland, and he had the wedding ring in his shoe all day, and that's like, what? Why? Oh, you ring in your shoe and you go to Disneyland? That's the worst thing. Worst idea. Anyway, so he decides to propose in front of the Magic Castle right after the fireworks and before Fantasmic. And he's getting down on one knee, and my mom loves Fantasmic. She was like, we have to go now. Get up! Get up! So...
Roy, did you manage to get the question out before you had to go watch Fantasmic?
Yes, I did.
She was like, yeah, sure, let's go.
That's fine, as long as we can go.
He's like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's go.
That is such a cute story, and what a beautiful proposal at Disneyland. It's so perfect. Aww.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's really awesome. Oh,
especially because she said yes.
Exactly.
That's always a good thing.
Yes, I love it. Shari Barrett says she remembers the Notables. Oh, yeah. And then we answered the question if they were part of the Aerospace Players. And it's interesting because quite a few people have come out of this little network of engineers in this South Bay.
Doug Carlson actually was part of it. Janine Anderson, who painted the Little Mermaid set.
Oh, wow.
She was part of that group.
They keep dragging people in. They're actually cult leaders.
The Kentwood cult. I love it. That's super great. And then to Sam's question, Fiona, I mean, basically you've been in the theater since the womb, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Literally, at the time that when I was pregnant with her, am I allowed to say that word?
Yes, you can say pregnant.
Didn't used to be able to say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so Roy and I were doing a show together. We were doing Brigadoon, and I was playing in the pit, and he was Charlie, the bridegroom, and he was getting married to Janine Anderson that we were just talking about. Yeah. And so meanwhile, during the rehearsals for that, Fiona was born, and we decided to name her Fiona after the main character.
Oh, I didn't know this.
So yeah, she was kind of born into it. And then after that, whenever we do rehearsals, we would just take the roll-up playpen and just put her in it, and she would just watch, and she would practice her dancing steps, holding onto the side.
I love it. So really, you really just pretty much had no choice.
Kind of, yeah. That's how she got on stage. She had no choice.
I love it. Fiona, what was your first? Oh, hi, Katniss. Yes, and here she is making her appearance. What was your first theatrical show or experience besides observing that you participated in?
I don't know. The first one where I didn't know what was going on. I was a toddler. I was a prop. I was a girl with a balloon. It was in a musical called State Fair.
Yes.
Someone, was it you who held me?
Yeah.
She held me. I got a balloon. That was my role. And then I took a bow, and that was great. Or like,
No, people were watching her in the dressing rooms during the show because Roy and I were actually both on stage. And
Yeah, we were the fair
yeah,
tones, right?
but for the finale, everyone was taking their bows and nobody could watch her. So we had to take her with us. So we decided to actually put her into the first scene, dressed her up. She got a balloon every night, so she could kept her busy. And then when it was time for curtain calls,
I'd pick her up out of the playpen, put her in my arms, and we would walk out for a curtain call bow.
That's so adorable.
I love this.
lights, and she just
Oh, the
literally-
applause, the lights and the applause. It was so funny. But by the third show, I would go to her with the playpen. I said, like, curtain call. And she'd say, curtain call, curtain call, curtain call, curtain call.
That is so great. As a fellow theater kid, from the toddler age, I can totally relate to this, and I love it. And it explains so much about you. That's so great.
That was her thing.
I love it.
Lights and the applause.
So, what is your favorite type of genre? Are you guys strictly musicals? Do we like to do, straight plays? Like, what is your favorite thing?
I feel like if I've been in theater all my life, I don't know why. It's probably my self-esteem that's low. I just think I'm a bad actor because I haven't done roles to know if I even am good. So I want to get more practice with actual straight plays and stuff.
I think I've always been attracted to musicals because I just love to dance, sing and dance. So, but I do need to improve my chops in acting.
Dude, I was thinking of the word chops.
Chops?
I love that. Well, and then that's something that you all can do together.
Yeah, but that's always fun, yeah, because usually when we do the musicals, she's in the pit and the two of us are either backstage because we're on crew or we've been cast in the show, so it's kind of fun.
I was going to say, not to be outdone, you all have a little cat.
I just need to get a cat.
Damn. Or like, you should get a cat's poster behind you.
I
I'm
have
sure
a
he
cat's
has one.
t-shirt. I have a cat's t-shirt.
Then hang it up behind you.
I'll hang it. Okay. I'll put that in the suggestion box.
So I'm curious as to how you all got involved with Kentwood. How did you hear about it, and what was your first show?
Okay, so the first show that I did was Man of La Mancha way back in 1996. So basically, one of the director was Jeff Wallach, and I also knew one of the female characters. She played Maria, the innkeeper's wife. Now she and I had just done a show up in Culver City, Camelot. And so she started calling people that were on that cast and say, who wants to come down and be part of the show? And so myself and another person named Jen Newton, we joined the cast because they needed more people. And especially they needed the horse and the mule to do the dance. And so Vicki Miller, who was our choreographer, taught us the dance, and we were the horse and the mule.
I love it. That's so great.
So, and I loved it so much that I was back the next year for Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Wow. So that was it. You said 1997?
96 was
96.
La Mancha, and 97 was Funny Thing.
Wow. That's such a great time to be involved with the theater. I love that. And so here's an interesting question, because as we established earlier, Roy, you are an engineer. We know, Colleen, you study music. How did you dance in almost every single show? I've seen you do various different forms and styles of dance. Where did this come from? How did you learn it? Is it just choreography, or did you study?
Well, before I did theater, or I also played Japanese taiko for like 25 years. And that's very athletic and very dynamic and very, very rhythmic. And I've always been interested in physicality and athletic movement and dance and stuff like that. So knowing that I wanted to do theater, because I got into it, like I said, once I finished school back I joined the Notables, and then while in the Notables, somebody that was in that group said, "Hey, we need some dancers to do to be trial by jury, which is a Gilbert and Sullivan show." So I joined that group, that production, and the director saying, Doug Vasquez is the director. And he said, "Hey, what you should do is you seem to be having a lot of fun. You have a lot of energy. We like you." And I said, "Well, what can I do to do more of this stuff?" And he goes, "Well, go get some, voice training. Go get some dance training. And so I did. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. I love doing this. I want to improve. I want to get better. I want to understand and learn stagecraft." So I did.
I love it. That's great.
That's so great. So, Fiona, what was your first show at the Kentwood Players?
Okay, quick beforehand, I auditioned originally to be on for Annie. I auditioned to be Annie, but Susan Weisbach?
Yeah.
Susan Weisbach was doing that, and I auditioned, and my audition song, the accompanist, played it really, really fast. And I was like really nervous, and I was singing really fast, and I was able to do it, but I was like, ah. And then she said, "Do you want to audition again?" I said, "No."
Wow.
That was my first audition at Kenwood. I don't know. I guess. Yeah. And then later on that year, I think. Did you originally audition for? It was Candy.
No, but it all started back with Parade.
Oh yeah, my dad was in Parade.
Actually, that's how I got involved. I played production at Parade with Elsa Thunder High School, and I just became in love with the musical. It's just amazing. And so when I saw Kentwood was doing it, I told Roy, I said, "You have to audition for that. You have to audition, And so they were also wanting musicians to audition as characters on stage.
That's how we got back in the Kentwood.
Yeah, that's how we got back in.
Aww.
So Roy and I auditioned on stage. I auditioned for the fiddler, which they cut the part out, but they asked if I wanted to play in the pit. And that's how we got involved. Fiona would be upstairs playing with the pole in the green room.
Lawrence, he was in the cast. He taught me how to pole dance, 8-year-old.
Anyway, so Kat, I guess, really enjoyed having Fiona around, and she saw something in her, so she said, "Hey, you want to audition for the Candide?" And that's how the three of us actually did our first show together.
Oh, that was the first show all three of you were in together.
I can't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. Oh, yay!
That's so fun. So what kind of made y'all keep staying and say, "Hey, this is kind of where I want to keep on trucking in the theater"?
I mean, it was close by.
We liked the people.
the people really.
Yeah.
It was everybody made us feel welcome. We felt like we were part of a family,
There were things
there.
to do all the time.
and everybody that we met there was just so supportive, right? I mean, Fiona, as you just mentioned, is having a birthday, and then she just got a card from Miss Charlotte.
Aww.
Say,
I did.
Yeah, I have to show it to you.
Yeah, sure I did.
Well, it's not your birthday.
but
It's not till Wednesday.
but I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, these people
Yeah.
are so thoughtful and so inclusive, and are
Inclusive.
always,
Yeah.
and that's, that just makes you want to be a part of it because they're such great people.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
that's how I felt from all of you when I was just this random teenager walking into auditions after having injured myself and also asking, "Hey, why do you have a brace on your knee?" And I'm like, "Yeah, about that." So, I felt that same thing from all of you.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, ditto. I think our first show together was "It's a Wonderful Life." Was the first show we did together.
Yes.
I think I get things out of order, so I can never remember. And that was when you did Potcher too, Fiona, wasn't it? You did that on the set.
Yeah, it was on that set.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I remember we did the Kentwood Kids stuff at the same time. And Shari Barrett brings that up about you being a Kentwood kid, and we love our Kentwood kids. And it's crazy. I mean, you did the show, and then you were a kid performing at Kentwood.
I only did one, and I did the
Yep.
classes, and I basically I was so good, they were like, we can't do this anymore. No, wait, I was
We're
so
never
bad
going to
at it.
top
I
this
said, "We
show."
can't do this
No,
anymore."
that's not true. Not true. No, look,
That program.
any of our young people that perform at the theater or did the program or our Kentwood kids, and it's crazy to me now that you are turning 18 on Wednesday. That is insane to me. I said I was going to tell this story, and then I'm going to get to these comments really quickly. But I remember we did Pippin together 2 years, coming up on 2 years, almost 2 years ago.
I don't even want to think about
All five
that.
of us were involved with Pippin, which is crazy. And I remember, so 16 years old, this one was, and dancing in Pippin very provocatively.
Yes.
And I remember during one of the dances that you two did together. And I'm backstage behind the flat waiting to go on. Now, we haven't seen the choreography because, for those who do not know, a lot of times when you're rehearsing a show, if you're not in the number, you're not at rehearsal. And it's not till we start to put the show together, we start running full scenes or running full acts, that you see what everybody has been working on when you're not at rehearsal. And so you guys have been working on this part, and I'm waiting to go on stage, and I hear these noises. And I was like, what is happening? And I like mini heart attack. Because I realized little Miss Fiona was no longer little. And now
They're
you're,
proud of me.
I mean, she looks good. All I do is make sure that whatever she does, she looks good. Even
That's
if
right.
they're-
that's right. And she did. You nailed it, Fiona. It was fabulous. You were gorgeous dancer in that show. Or
Sam
performer
looks
in general.
good, too.
Sam was
Thank you.
Sam was also very gorgeous in that show. You guys did a beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful pairing.
No, he didn't catch you every time.
He caught me
No,
every time.
no, he didn't.
Well,
Yes,
then
he did.
if
It
That
was
was the
showing.
choreography.
Well, if he didn't,
Oh,
then it was
okay.
you
Okay,
meant like
okay.
in the play.
The first one, it was a fail.
Oh yes, that was
But
intentional.
that was on purpose.
That was intentional. Yeah, you guys, it was so beautiful.
Well, the thing is also everyone was like, Sam, how old are you? And I was like 18. And so everyone thought I looked about 25.
Yes.
I mean, my facial hair really does a lot for me. But
Yes.
everyone was like, oh, okay, good. You're not 25 years old.
Right.
Go ahead.
After the show, like, is he? I'm like, he's a dude. Don't worry
Yes.
about
I was
it.
like, no, I'm 18 and
Yeah,
gay.
yeah.
So.
You.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was appropriate. You guys, you both nailed it, and it was really great. And now you're on Wednesday. You're an adult, and I just don't even know how to deal with that.
Yeah, we're kicking her out of the house.
That's
No,
right.
you're not. I can tell you that
Except-
you're not.
Except it's quarantine, so.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna pitch a tent in the back.
Oh, that sounds about right. Dennis Taylor is watching and says that Roy and Colleen go way back. He was the sound and light tech for many of your shows. So I want to say a special shout out to Dennis. Thanks for watching. And then also Shari was sharing a memory of Fiona during Little Shop and said that you knew all of the parts of Little Shop.
Aww.
Not surprised. Pickup rehearsals are my absolute favorite because whenever someone isn't there, I just fill in and I know everything and I just go boom, 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 and it's the best. It's so fun.
I love it. You are very handy to have around.
She would be the perfect swing.
Yeah, yes, 100%. You're a great swing.
That would be so fun. I
And-
want to do that.
Roy and I did and you filled in for Vicky you filled in for Roy when we were doing Pippin. Yeah, you just hopped right in and did the Manson trio with us in Pippin. That was insane.
Well, and then she filled in for the Vicky for the Seagulls in Little Mermaid
Yes.
because she had gotten injured and couldn't do it. And so I had asked to can I learn the choreo just for fun? And so Allison Bull, the choreographer, let me do it. And then she's like, hey, now we have an open spot. Fiona, you want to go in? And then she asked me, she was like, well, now we have another spot we have to fill. Can you come in for like 2 shows? And I was like, okay. So that's how that happened.
And I must have seen one of I don't know how many shows you did, Fiona, but I saw it because I thought you were that role. That you always did the tap dance seagull, but that's not.
Oh,
She did all of them, I think.
Oh, okay.
no,
Oh, you
I did
didn't?
like the last 4 weekends.
She
Okay.
was only supposed
Yeah,
to do
'cause-
about 3 or 4. but-
Because Vicky got injured. She
Oh, I thought she had gotten injured before the show.
no. It was like after the second weekend.
I
Yeah.
remember having to be like, oh wait, okay, so now I have another costume to get into before Kiss the Girl
And dance cross.
and dance.
You killed it though. It was kind of amazing.
My seagull would dance cross-eyed with this stupid smile, so I tap danced cross-eyed every night. I don't know why. Character choice.
I thought it was hysterical.
I love it. I have to say, one of the things I find very admirable about all 3 of you is how versatile you are. I mean, this is just going to show it, how, each of you can hop in and do these different things. Roy, as you're saying, like you said, oh, this is fun. I'm going to learn how to do that. And then you go learn how to do that. So I feel like these are great qualities and strengths and have really benefited. I mean, the theater, we benefit from all of you guys. How have you benefited from taking these different aspects that you learn in the theater in other aspects of your life?
I think
Work,
it,
whatever.
I think in regular life too. Obviously, you're thrown curveballs and you get different challenges. And I think what theater did for me to be able to, it gives you kind of this confidence, even though you're afraid of maybe trying something new. You at least say like, you know what, I survived being on stage trying something that was scary.
Yeah.
And so you say, you know what, I think I could handle that. I'm going to give that a try. It's like at work, say you have to do this presentation on this topic. And, oh, okay, I better learn it and learn it real quick. I think theater is part. It gives you confidence. It lets you realize that you are able to do things.
I'm gonna counter that. A rebuttal. I do the exact opposite. I'm still just at the insecure. But theater gives me something to let it go. Because I feel like if there's a performance opportunity at school, at first I'm excited. And then I'm terrified for my life. Like, oh no, this is not an audience who paid. They don't want to sit in class watching this presentation. But at least I'm going to give them something entertaining. And if I flub up, I don't know. I guess I'm entertaining all the time in class, I must say. Maybe I do have a little bit of confidence, but in class, I'm usually the one who, if they say, Fiona, please read paragraph here to here in the text, I will literally, take the English book and read all the characters.
The British accent.
Or as a British accent. I was in chemistry, and I read every procedure in the British accent. Honestly,
I wish you had been in my chemistry class.
yeah, I guess. Now I think about it, maybe theater did help me a little bit, but I am still awkward and just a normal teenager in a mess during quarantine.
I think that is fairly normal for all of us artists. And I think about where might you be if you didn't have the experience of theater? Maybe when they ask to read a passage in English class, you would be terrified and, like a deer in headlights, like I can't read it in public, But it seems to me, like having watched you grow up all of these years, it seems to me like you have confidence where you don't even realize that you do. Yeah, you shine.
Yeah.
Colleen, how about you? Because as a musician, I feel like those are such a necessary. I feel like music is so necessary for life, and it's one of the things that is the best, I know, for brain development and all these kinds of things. So, I mean, I feel like this probably left a huge impact in your life being a musician from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things doing theater at Kentwood for all of us has been that we've been able to be involved in so many shows, but as a family. So we can do things as a family together without just going so many different directions and being bored and not knowing what anyone's doing. So it's brought us really close. And, so that's good. As far as music, playing in the various pits at Kentwood, it's helped my confidence a lot. I don't like to be seen, and so I like hiding in the back, so that's one thing. But it's also given me a chance to try other things, like if they need a slide whistle, I'll try that. For MAME, I decided that they needed to have a banjo, and so I taught myself banjo a little bit. And that was my first show that I did banjo. I went back into retirement. But, it pushes you to try other things.
Or trying to figure out where to put the rubber chickens.
Oh yeah, rubber chickens are important. I don't do those at Kentwood. Yeah. Recently, Roy has joined the pit a little bit. He's been going back to his percussion roots, and he's been on stage manager, and pit all at one time.
You did
It's Sunday in the Park with George. I was working on a project for the set, and I was watching one of the rehearsals, and I was like, wait a second. I feel like he is stage managing, playing in the pit, and in the show.
Yeah, he did that.
That is correct. All three things. That is multitasking to a whole new level.
Yes.
That is insanity.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Fun stress. Yeah.
Fun stress, yeah.
Stress.
So Dennis says, first of all, he says a lot of talent sitting up there, which I have to agree. And then he wants to know, he wants to hear, Roy, you talk about your role in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well, I played Judas.
That's the role. I want to play Judas so bad.
It was a awesome experience.
Oh, that's amazing.
I wish I saw you do it.
That was probably just one of the most amazing experiences being in a show. Just rock opera and just belting out those notes way up there, and it was a lot of fun. It was really dramatic. I just remember Colleen was stage manager, I think, or you were assistant to the director or something. Assistant to the director. And there was one night, and we had kind of a long rehearsal period, and we would go through the whole the night before. I guess it was in the Garden of Gethsemane. There was that one scene, and we were going through it again, and I'm thinking, okay, this is about the fourth time, and I need to up the ante. We need to all get into character because I feel like we're going through the motions. And it was getting late at evening, but I still felt like, come on, we need this emotional content, right? So that night, I decided I'm gonna go all out. I'm just gonna just scream out my part. I'm gonna get all emotional. I'm gonna just go and get into Jesus's face and do this thing. And I caught the character who was playing Jesus by surprise. I didn't tell him I was gonna do it. And all of a sudden, I could see that he got into character immediately. He was there because he was reacting to me, right?
Yeah.
So I went through the whole thing, and then at the end of that scene, Judas goes tearing off and just emotionally just crying and just emotional, and he goes tearing off. And I did that. I did it all the way. And I could hear everybody is like all quiet after that scene. And I came out and said, "It's okay, guys, I'm okay," because everyone thought I had some kind of emotional breakdown during rehearsal. Yeah, Colleen thought I was like, she was so concerned that I went through some breakdown.
Wow.
But I came out and I said, "Come on, guys, this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
That's how high the stakes need to be in this show."
Absolutely. 100%, 1,000%.
Yeah, I think a lot of times as actors, I do this when I'm directing, is sometimes you just have to tell yourself go over the top, because what you think is over the top is actually appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you kind of have this limit on yourself, because you don't want to be like, you don't want to worry about being over the top, but then in reality, if you tell yourself, okay, let me just try it, and then the director is honestly 9 times out of 10 gonna say that was exactly what I wanted.
Or even when you
I
go,
love hearing stuff about that.
Even when you go, how did that feel? A lot of times, and like it seems like this is exactly what you're saying, the actor themselves is going, "That's it. That wasn't over the top. That was it." Like that felt connected. That felt high stakes, life and death. Which, I mean, it doesn't get much more high stakes than, the story of Judas and Christ. Earlier. Dennis says he cried at that moment. So obviously very powerful. And I mean, and I think in order to tell, like the story of Jesus Christ Superstar is told in such, it talks about things that we don't normally talk about in this relationship. And I think in order to, you got to go there. You really have to go there, and so that's really beautiful.
Yes,
I love that. You're. I want to kind of take this in a different direction, because you're bringing up an interesting thing in that you. Okay, Katniss, I'm sorry, honey, you're moving around way too much. She is all over the place. She's very excited about Jesus Christ Superstar, and she's back. Okay. Because we've talked about this a few times between us, which is diversity in roles and that we play, and what roles we are able to do and want to do. So how have you found in theater the struggles and the triumphs of working in diverse theater and being of a different ethnicity than what is stereotypically cast?
Well, I think, as for myself, I've played the role of Ito in Name twice, which is, of course, for one group, they wanted the kind of like broken English kind of whatever, but at Kentwood, Ben says, "No, I don't want you going there. I want you to be a person. I want you to be, Mame loves you as family. So you don't play a caricature, be a person." And so I felt so thankful that I didn't have to put on this silly accent or have weird behavior just to fill the stereotype of that role. So I played that role twice, like I said, both ways. And I was very appreciative. The second time I played it was at Kentwood, and I was very appreciative that I got to play it that way.
That's a huge deal that I don't think we think about and talk about, is when we're asking somebody to play as a caricature of one's ethnicity.
Right. I think yeah, I was willing to do it because I signed up for it. I trusted the director. And I think that's the main thing is when you trust the director, because they set the view, they have a vision, and they set the tone, and they have a certain idea of what they want the show to be about. So I'm not adverse to playing a caricature unless the caricature in itself is just, how do you say, a laughing point, or I mean, like, even if it is for comedy and it is funny, if there's no depth to it, if there's no meaning to it, then it's kind of like, well, you're just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
I want it to be more, there needs to be a meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, at least that's the way I see it. Anyway, that's just my take on it. But yes, but being a person, the Asian person trying to find roles that are traditionally not cast as Asian is also, very difficult. I think it's getting better. I think it's getting, people are more open to going in a different direction nowadays. But yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, it was like, well, for example, when I did West Side Story, the West Side Story at Kentwood, 2001, and of course I'm going to be a shark. I mean, but I wanted to be a jet. I mean, the jet gets to do, Officer Krupke. They get to do, cool. I wanted to be a jet, but of course, a shark. Now, I get it, because the whole premise behind the show itself is about, you have this group, and you have this animosity between racial tension between this. So, in a sense, it's hard for the director to cast me that way. Right, but that show is that way. So it's so there are certain right. So there has to be certain shows where, yes, it would be great. I would love for you to be a jet, but it just doesn't work. So I accepted it. I mean, he offered me a shark role, and I took the shark role because I wanted to be part of the show.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, it's an interesting. We're growing and evolving in different ways, and it's funny you bring up that show, because when I did the show years ago, and I am Latina. I am from Venezuela, so I was cast as a jet. Funny enough, and that's a whole other story we'll get into. At the time, this was a long time ago. So at the time, I was also just like, well, I want to be part of the show, so I'm going to do whatever role, and I get to do fun dancing and that. But in hindsight, I look at it and I go, hold on a second. Especially looking how it was cast, I'm like,
right.
There was okay. We should have a little talk about that. So, but we've grown. And we're now, I think, starting to think outside the box more, which I think is necessary. If I were casting West Side Story, I would definitely cast you as a jet. Of course.
Love it. I have to be Doc now, though.
I was going to say, of course, trying to pass you off as a high school student, we can do it. We can do it.
I think we can do it. The magic of theater.
Magic of theater, yeah.
Power of theater.
Totally. Ian McKellen played Romeo at 38 years old. So, that's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Yeah. In Rep, he was doing the title role of the Scottish play and playing Romeo in Rep at 37 or 38 years old.
That's
a big age.
Yeah. Total ends of the spectrum. So, real quickly, because I know we have to wrap up here in a second. I'm getting my producer's giving me the calls. we've talked a little bit about theater and how it's influenced our lives, and we're in this crazy pandemic, and we've been out. We're all going stir crazy and just regular crazy. What would you like to see when we come out of this? And how would we like to see theater return? What are some different things we would like for it to evolve into? What are some things that you'd like to, when we're finally free from this? What do you want to do?
I kind of want to, I don't know. I feel like when we return, some people will be like, are we good? Wait, are we good? Should we wait for that other people to start first? Should we wait for that theater to open first? Should we? I think it should just be this, hello, we're here, better than ever, stronger than ever, come here, and just like, I think we should just take every chance. And because, I don't know why I've just been hit with this. Maybe it's just because I need theater. I need theater. There are people out there, and they need theater, and I'm one of them. Give us just this, I don't know. I don't care. I'm not trying to sound desperate here.
Well, I mean, we are, so.
No, but I want people to take a chance. I want people to think if they want to try theater, please try. I love the family that we have at Kentland, but I want to see more people trying out and more people, more directors, more variety in ethnicity, age. I want just the family to grow, and I know that's scary because of COVID, but it will help your mental state. It's so fun, and it's just so good. It's so good.
I think you put it well. I was thinking when you asked that question that it should, like you said, almost like explode on the scene like a huge celebration.
Yeah.
You know, with no hesitancy. I know you're talking about that. And the other thing is, like Fiona said, is there are a lot of stories that are untold. I would like to hear those stories that hopefully people are more open to hearing. You know, that there will be more acceptance that, yeah, that's a story and it needs to be told.
I love that. Colleen, do you have anything special you want to see from?
Playing an instrument. As much as I want to play, we have to be careful because we're the ones that are, sitting close to each other. We can't move around that much. Pip is very constrained, and so what we do until this virus is completely over is we have to be really careful. And I mean, we all do, of course, but it's been a little more cautious getting the live music back on.
Yeah.
I agree with them with the stories and everything, but there's so many aspects to theater that you don't think of. It's not just what you want to do; it's the logistics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Samantha, you can confirm or deny this, but I don't think we've had a dedicated orchestra player on our show yet. So I'm glad you brought that up, and you're making this known because we haven't touched on this yet. So really want to thank you for that.
It's really actually, it's great that both of you are saying this, because there have been times where I've been in a situation too where maybe we didn't take into account, I'm saying I was not part of this, but didn't take into account the needs of orchestra members and I've been in shows where things were built in ways and you're like, a violin needs movement, right? You know what I mean? And then you have to kind of like rearrange or my favorite was doing a rock musical, and they didn't have anything they didn't at the time have anything planned to, in front of the drums. And I don't know if you've ever been in a small space with drums before. But yeah.
We all have, I think.
But anyway, so that's a lot to take into consideration. And unfortunately, this virus, I mean, even doing musicals, even singing, until we get it all under control, it's going to be a while before we're back at it in the regular way that we did before. So safety first, wear your masks.
Now, to lighten the mood, this is always my my favorite part before we wrap up. I wanted to ask, I know Fiona, you kind of mentioned this, but I wanted to ask, what is your favorite theater memory that you have, either on stage, backstage, or in the audience, for each of you?
I already said mine. Someone else go. Oh, mine was Pippin. It's always Pippin. Literally, Pippin changed my freaking life.
Aww.
Me too, Fiona. Me too.
Everyone in that house. I forgot. I know. Okay. I'm gonna sound cliche. Viewers, you've probably heard it too much about Pippin. Because literally everyone has talked about it. But it's for a reason. Because it was the best. So just saying. It was that good.
It was a very special experience for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they remember.
Mine was not a. This was about theater in itself, but it was about performing. I actually went to a taping of a sitcom, and during that show, they had a live band. And they were having people do the warm up act. You know how they have and so someone said the guy doing the warm up said, "Who wants to sing?" And I raised my hand up. My hand shoots up, right? And the guy says, "Okay, you are going to be one of them." And so anyway, long story short, they have me go up and sing. And do you do karaoke? No. Do you sing very much? Not really. This is before I was doing the theater a lot. And everyone's groaning like, "Oh, this is suck," right? And then what are you gonna sing? Hotel California. So I start singing Hotel California, and I'm singing with the mic, and all of a sudden, everybody's getting into it. I'm getting into it. The whole audience is getting into it, and I was so stoked because they had like 20 Marines there from Camp Pendleton.
Oh wow!
Right? And at the end of the song, they pulled out their lighters and they lit the lighters for me.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So special.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I was in a rock concert.
Yes, and then connecting with the audience, it's such a special feeling.
Yeah.
You're all bonded together. Oh, I love that. Yay. That's great.
That was awesome.
Colleen, what about you? What's been your favorite theatrical experience in any form?
I especially love when I'm playing my instrument with somebody on stage and I feel like we're doing our own duet or something, that we're connected. I mean, it's really neat when I get to do that with Roy. Haven't really had a chance to do that with you yet. But I don't know, that's pretty neat.
Special connection between musicians.
Yeah, the connection. Oh, I know, I just thought of something that was interesting. When you were talking earlier about how you don't realize sometimes what the orchestra is going through when you're making set designs and all that stuff. When we did Young Frankenstein at Kentwood, there was not a whole lot of room, and I literally was sitting on stairs that actors were using.
Oh no!
Across, looking at a drum set, and I would have to move the stairs. I'd have it marked. I mean, I would have to get up and move so the actors could do their entrances and exits. And I'd have it marked in my music when to. And another time, I would go to the other side of the stage so I could play. And backstage. And so that was just kind of unique and fun. It's yeah. Well, okay, it's scary at the time, but it's fun to think.
When you work it all out, it's fun. Yeah. I want to say two really quick things about that. First of all, I think how sweet it is that you both, like you and Roy together, married, and then also sharing that connection and bond on stage, singing and playing together. That's really special. That like to share with an audience too. Like that's going to be even more of a connection. So that's pretty special. And then second, I was going to say, and then also Young Frankenstein, huge friggin' show. Small little theater and to be able to make all of that work is amazing, and what a great collaboration, and how great of you to be able to I can run to the other side of the stage and play for the song, or you know what, like to work it out. I mean, because that's not. I mean, I guess I do play violins. I know it's a bow and a violin. It's not like, you know, bass or something, but like, but still, it's you know, it's not, you know, an easy thing to do. So that's great collaboration.
No one's playing trombone.
Oh no, we did Sister Act.
Someone play trombone?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Sam's favorite question of the night.
Oh yes, my favorite question is what any debacles that you've been involved in or have watched on stage.
Your favorite debacle. You don't have to name names, but if you want
I
to,
can
we're
remember
here for it.
in Little Mermaid, Roy was Sebastian, and he went out in the audience and on stage and did his whole thing, and then came back and realized he didn't have his hat, which was a major part of his costume because then you could see his redness wasn't up here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, he has no idea.
There was that, and then you know what? I'm not even gonna, because it might end up being yours. What was it, Roy?
Well, okay, so mine, there was.
I don't think it's what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking.
One of the, I did was City of Angels when we first started dating. There was one show where I went up on my lines, and because the guy literally, okay, for a fact, they took the hinges off this door. He pushes the door, and the door goes flying. Okay, that was part of the scene. But when Chauncey pushed the flat so hard that the flat fell.
Oh no!
Collapsed. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, and then in my head I'm thinking, I know my line's next. What the hell is my line? And I totally went up. Oh my God! And then my scene partner said, "Okay," he just kind of went to the end of it and I said, like, "Okay, well, I'm good with that."
That's understandable. If an entire flat falls, you are allowed to not know what's going on.
It's gonna throw you through a loop.
Oh my gosh.
So what I was thinking was just that time in Little Mermaid when during Under the Sea when Ariel's wig got stuck on one of the buttons for the entire number.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes.
Wait, one of the buttons of Roy's costume?
Of Roy's costume. She got her wig stuck on it for the whole costume. So the whole time Ariel's kind of like,
right. Well, I got to the point where and sorry, Kim, I had to do this because I was trying to take it off and it wouldn't come up, so I just ripped the button off.
Of course.
And she just had to just go on.
Good thing that you didn't have to do a lot during that number.
Right.
right, that's a really
Not
really
like it's your big number or anything.
Hark and bark number.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Fiona, do you have a crazy debacle that you've either experienced or witnessed?
That I haven't said yet. My very first show during Candide, I still didn't really know theater that much. So when a kid has like their first like on stage, even if it's a small they are in complete hysterics backstage. I messed up the whole show.
Oh no.
Yes. So what happened is I was upstairs and someone was telling a story and I was excited and I was like, oh no, I hear my cue downstairs. I run really fast all the way down. I lose one of my shoes and I'm like, oh no, and it's not a big deal. It really isn't. But I made a big deal of it. I am like, and my entire role was just I held up a map and someone pointed to the map and I was like, oh no, they're gonna notice I don't have a shoe. But I had black shoes and black socks, so they wouldn't notice. But instead, I held this big mirror and I stood on one foot, so they wouldn't see that I didn't have a shoe. And I was just wobbling. Like, they're not going to notice I don't have a shoe. I'm so clever. I'm hiding my foot behind this map. They're not going to know. And that's kind of it. And I got backstage and I was like, my shoe.
Oh my gosh. Fiona, that is great. I did not know that. That is hysterical. I love too that you stood on one foot.
What?
It
much for the show.
That was her brilliant solution.
I know.
Notice
No one will notice anything's amiss. That's great. Oh, I love debacle time. That might be my favorite time too. Okidas, thank you so much for joining us and gossiping and letting us into your life. So great. Happy early birthday, Fiona. I'm sorry, Roy, what was that?
Aquarius!
Yay. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Gemini.
Not everyone can be us.
That's true. Some of us are Scorpios. Thank you all so much. Seriously, it was so much fun. We really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Of course.
And we will see everyone next Sunday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Oh, we have your special guest.
My improv teacher,
Yes.
Mary McCusker, my improv teacher last semester who teaches me at LMU is going to be on to talk about her book and improv and being an acting coach and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, I'm really excited about this. Improv is such a necessary skill.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, bring your journals and notepads next Sunday.
Yes,
It's gonna be a good
and...
class. Yes, and. All right, on that note, we're going to say goodnight. See you all.
Good night.